Okay, this is an update on the VT Commodore I bought. Got it quite cheap. Problems I've had, wouldn't start. Got a auto lecky out eventually. Starter motor was dead, so I replaced the starter motor. It then wanted to crank over, still wouldn't start. Checked fuses and everything. Did a lot of research, back and forth, as I'm no mechanic, as I've said before. So I could hear the fuel pump working, so I didn't want to take the fuel tank out and replace the pump. Heard that working, so this fuel line here is goes back into your tank basically. What I did was took this one here off, this one here, and it's just got a clip around it, clamp. Take that off, and had fuel coming out, so I thought it might be the injectors, and I've never touched anything with injectors or fuel rails or anything, but this silver section is your fuel rail, goes right around both sides, and obviously those that don't know, your injectors are down here. It as electric pulse comes through and opens up. I think it's a relay, or what do they call it? Can't think of the name now, it's too long in the day. Yeah, so I basically took this whole rail off. There's 4 bolts you take off. This plate here, I just undone that, so this rail section can come through. The injectors, they've got rubbers on either end, like a rubber O-ring, so just be gentle when you spray some WD-40 or something in there before you pull it out. This has never been taken out, I presume, in 30 years or whatever. So I took it out in the shed, and I did a little video on checking that we're getting the pulse to go through each injector. So cleaned all that, put it back together, and it fired up. I had fuel, it was fired up. Then I had an oil light problem. No oil. Checked the dipstick. The bloke before who I got off, fresh oil in there. Had it running for a bit, and oil was still cold. Oil light was coming on, so I shut it down. Didn't sound real healthy. So then I've gone through the process of what do I do? Take the pan off, and that's like half the engine, pull the engine out, and all the K-rail they call it, member off. So what I did was took off the actual oil pump, which you probably can't see, I'll go underneath. I've cleaned it up quite well. The oil pump there's 4 bolts. You undo them, and there's a oil pressure sensor that clips off, and the whole oh, you take the oil filter off first, sorry, just to help get clearance. That slides out, and you've got a line, there's like a lines back up to the cam, I think, or runs off. Anyway, you'll see when you pull it out, that's got a line back up when you go to reinstall it. But I took that oil pump out, gave it a good clean up, and I run some carriers through the inside, cleaned it all up, then put some oil through, flushed it with oil. I'll go underneath, see if I can see it quickly for you. That bolt there, that undoes, and there's a spring inside. I cleaned all that as well, because it can be gummed up and cause problems apparently. So I've taken that out as well, and then before I refitted it, they say to prime the pump with grease or Vaseline. So when you pull it off, and you can see the gearing section, that gearing section, I just packed that as much grease as I could. And before that, check if the pickup
suction area was actually not blocked. While the pump was off, I just got a hose, and you'll see a couple of holes in there. It doesn't matter which one, you'll hear it, and I could hear the oil being bubbling around. So I presumed it was clear, the pickup filler point, yeah, then I put oil in the filter, put the actual oil pump back on first, tighten that down, sensor back on, and then oil filter full of oil, and screwed that back on, and turned the car off and on a few times, just the accessories to prime the fuel, and fired it up, and bang, yeah, it worked brilliantly. So there could have been a few other problems as well as what I've mentioned, and some of the guys were saying the filter. Now this filter, when I pulled it off, that's exactly how I pulled it off, and if I tip it over here, that's all the oil that's coming out. So whether that had collapsed inside, not working, whether the pump itself had unprimed itself or whatnot, I have no idea, but yeah, that was no oil at all. And when I had the engine running for a while, a few days ago, a couple of minutes, the oil in the, when I pulled the dipstick out, oil wasn't hot at all, and the oil was clean. And I pull it out now, and it's got slight discoloration, but yeah, I had it when I was running before, and it was nice and warm, and oil light's gone out, so that problem solved. Yeah, on to the next problem, but I don't know what that's going to be, but getting there slowly. Alright, hopefully that helps someone else out, and until next time.